So this past Christmas, I got a Pokemon game, as I have for many Christmases since I was a kid, and as I likely will for many Christmases until I experience the sweet release of Death 11.
That game was Pokémon Scarlet. I chose my fire starter like I always do, rushed through the game with my Pokemon only knowing attacking moves like a G, hit the end credits and...
You see tonight it could go either way. Hearts balanced on a razor blade.
The homie Ed Sheeran. I love Ed Sheeran. So if you want to write this off as an Ed Sheeran apologist video, then that's fine. But I was bopping my head along to it, celebrating a job well done, and then it stopped and I'm like, hey, I really liked that. And so I started Googling, and it seems that this song's reception has been a pretty mixed bag. So I thought I'd just rant about what I think, and if you like it, and if you don't, then you're wrong. First off, how did Ed Sheeran become associated with Pokemon? Well, Ed's apparently a big Pokemon fan. He still plays the old games on the Game Boy, he keeps up with the releases, he met with some Pokemon people while touring in Japan, and he was part of a Pokemon Go collaboration event. So hey, good on him. He got an awesome music video out of it, animated by some Pokemon animators in the way that he used to draw the old characters, and like, that's some dream come true type of ish. Even though a lot of the Pokemon in the video aren't in the game, including his favorite Pokemon, Squirtle, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so let's dive into the song. The main criticism I see is that the lyrics have nothing to do with Pokemon. And I mean, no, not directly. There's an Area Pikachu reference in here. If you separate this song from the Pokemon franchise, it kinda just sounds like a nice new Ed Sheeran song, in the same vein as his song Castle on the Hill. Growing up is hard and not everything's perfect, but friendship and love are good and yada yada yada. I kinda think Celestial is Castle on the Hill with the more overt personal stuff that's specific to Ed Sheeran's life taken out. And I think that's perfect for Pokemon, and especially these Pokemon games. Now we're gonna talk spoilers for a little bit, not the whole video, so if you haven't reached the credits of Scarlet and or Violet yet, and want to remain spoiler-free, skip to the timestamp on the screen. Spoilers coming in 3, 2, 1. Dude, this entire song is applicable to Arvin. Listen to the opening lines.
You see tonight it could go either way. Hearts balanced on a razor blade. We are designed to love and break, then to rinse and repeat it all again.
He loves his Mabastiff, his dog thing. It breaks him when he gets sick. Then he can just love him again when he's healthier. Koraidon or Miraidon, depending on the version, breaks his childhood. Or at least that's how he feels at one point. But then he realizes he loves them and cheers them on in the battle against his AI parent. The abandonment he feels from his parent breaks him, and the revelation that they died a while back and weren't just ignoring him for work brings back the love. And he finds love in his new friends. Now the pre-chorus.
I get stuck when the world's too loud and things don't look up when you're going down. I know your arms are reaching out from somewhere beyond the clouds.
In a literal sense, you go way down in Area Zero, but in a figurative sense, his parent is watching over him in an afterlife, or in some other metaphorical sense. Then you changes its reference in the chorus, now being about his 3 friends who helped to bring him out of his sorrow after the AI battle.
You make me feel like my troubled heart is a million miles away. You make me feel like I'm drunk on stars and we're dancing out into space, celestial.
The next few lines.
I see the light shining through the rain, 1,000 colors in a brighter shade. Needed to rise from the lowest place. There's silver lining that surrounds the gray.
His journey has been filled with sorrow and tough revelations, but he got new friends out of it. A silver lining. Then we're back to the pre-chorus and chorus, so let's hit the bridge.
We were made to be nothing more than this, finding magic in all the smallest things. The way we notice, that's what really matters. Let's make tonight go on and on and on. Make me feel.
The quartet decides to take the long way home. Nothing larger than the crazy legendary battle is going to happen on the way home, but they're finding joy in smaller things just by being together. And that covers all the lyrics of the song. Maybe those points feel like stretches, but honestly, I don't think they're stretches. And even if they are stretches, literally the first Pokémon movie soundtrack was filled with songs completely unrelatable to Pokémon in any way, and they were still fire. Foregoing franchise connections in favor of the hottest acts of the 90s, including Britney Spears, NSYNC, and the late great Aaron Carter. My favorite song from that soundtrack was Don't Say You Love Me by M2M. And the literal only connection you can make between that and the Pokemon movie are the lyrics, "We're down at the cinema," and in the music video they're watching the Pokemon movie. Absolutely nothing to do with Pokemon, and I ran that thing back on my Walkman CD player hundreds of times. That Walkman is now going for $120, by the way. What a world. Okay, we're off topic now, but now that we're talking about me, I'll close with my personal feelings, which are probably shared by many people who have been around since the beginning of this quarter-century journey, and probably even some who joined in later. To me, as someone who started with this series as a kid with Red and Blue, the lyrics reflect Pokemon as an escape to simpler times, right from those opening words. If you're a 20-something like I am now, love and death and lost and found relationships are all experiences you've likely gone through. I'm not about to sit here and tell you some multi-billion-dollar franchise exists solely to help you through life, but man, Pokemon became a phenomenon in no small part to the connections it made. Whether you're an OG who used link cables to link up Game Boys or made your first trade over Wi-Fi, this franchise has revolutionized connectivity in video games. And that's not to mention the countless schoolyard conversations, playing the trading card game with friends, making up games with the toys. A phenomenon is a phenomenon because of how many people it affects. Additionally, it's the fact that Pokemon is such a customizable experience. While you hit the same destination as others, the journeys can be so personalized. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are the first open-world entries in the mainline series. However, while this is all revolutionary for the game series, it's basically a way of presenting all of the wonder that the first game sought to give you in a modern way, like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild did. Zelda series creator Shigeru Miyamoto said Breath of the Wild directly harkens back to the open-world design philosophy of the very first Legend of Zelda. And while Red and Blue weren't open-world, they were revolutionary for how customizable an experience they were. You make your team from 150 available monsters, or 151 if you were a Game Shark kid like me. You customize their moves, you go through this big world, and while it's reasonably strict in how you have to do it, there is still a lot of freedom. Scarlet and Violet place an emphasis on freedom and customizability again, and make them feel fresh like the first games, making it feel like these games are the beginnings of something new, while still harkening back to the old, a reboot of sorts. Scarlet and Violet are also just darker shades of Red and Blue, so I think there's something there, even though technically Green came out before Blue, but like globally every region Gen 1 released and had Blue. There's even a direct callback on the side of a building, showing the icons the Pokemon had in the menus of the original games. Celestial is mostly about that freedom feeling I mentioned before. Not only that, but a return to that freedom feeling after tribulation. New beginnings, similar to old beginnings. Going somewhere new again. Much like Scarlet and Violet mark that in the games, other parts of the Pokemon Empire mark that as well. Ash's journey in the anime is coming to a close, a new series is beginning, and the trading cards are getting redesigns and brand new higher prices. Scarlet and Violet were announced on the 25th anniversary of the release of the original games, so this quarter-century turning point for the entire franchise makes sense. And like most turning points, it draws from the past. So no, I'm not going to say a video game alone will make you feel like your troubled heart is a million miles away. No matter how you feel about that Fuecoco, it's a bunch of ones and zeros like all other data at the end of the day. But it's how the wide openness of the games, presented in a way that everyone from kids to adults can understand, makes you feel like you're capable of anything. And it's the fact that that feeling of unlimited potential was felt and shared by so many at the beginning, and is now becoming that for a whole new generation, with a refresh on the entire multimedia franchise, from anime to games. When you meet people who make you feel that unlimited potential in real life, you don't let go. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.